Well, it sucks, but the thing's a dud. Doesn't work. Well, I contacted the seller, and he said go ahead and keep this, and he'll issue a refund in probably about 5 days, so hopefully he doesn't screw me around, or I'll have to get eBay or PayPal involved. But I took it apart just as soon as he gave me the go-ahead. I didn't tell him I was going to tear it apart, but he gave me the go-ahead to keep it instead of shipping it back to him. So I tore it apart, and here's the power supply. And I took my multimeter, which I happened to forget over on the other side of the room, and I checked the fuse, and the fuse is blown. So I'm hoping that's all that's wrong with it, but I don't know yet. I gotta take the fuse out, and there it is. I don't know if you can see it, but it's that little black thing in between the capacitor and the bridge rectifier. So I'll take that out and see if I have one kicking around here. My finger was in the way, but anyway, I'll see if I have one kicking around here. I'll put it back in, and we'll see if it works. It could still have a issue that'll cause the fuse to blow again, but yeah. Well, we'll see if it'll work anyway. Well, I wasn't going to come back until I was ready to test this thing with it all reassembled and stuff, but here's the original fuse, and I don't know if you can tell, but it is pretty black. I tested it out of the power supply, and it is for sure blown. It's a 4 amp 250 volt fuse, and the only one that I had that was reasonably close was this big ass one here, and that's 3.15 amps 250 volts. I didn't have any 4 amp fuses except for one 125 volt fuse, which probably would work, but I didn't want to take a chance, so I'm just going to use that for now to test it. If I have any issues, then I'll buy a 4 amp fuse, or actually I might just buy a 4 amp fuse anyway. But so I did the same thing they did from the factory. They put heat shrink on the original one, which I pretty much had to put on this one because there's a post right there and it's really close to the fuse. So now I'm going to take some hot glue and just hot glue the end of the fuse just to be safe. Alrighty, so when I come back, this will be in the vacuum sealer, and we'll see if it works. Well, I've been working on this vacuum sealer for a little bit, and I finally figured out the problem. I still didn't have the proper fuse, so I put a 2 amp fuse in there, but the main issue was the bridge rectifier. I don't know if you can see the model number of that. Should be able to. In case you can't, it's a KBL 407. And if I hit the button, the light comes on and it works. One problem though is that I forgot to hook the vacuum hose up, so I have to take it apart again and hook the vacuum hose back up inside, and then I should be able to test it out. Like I said before, I don't have any vacuum seal bags, but I do have some normal Ziplock bags like this one. These are actually freezer bags. They're not Ziplock brand, but they do have the Ziplock on them, so I'll give this a test run, see if it'll actually work. But I'll be back in a minute, and I'll hook up that vacuum hose and see if I can get her to suck some air out of something.